Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Burrell, and welcome to another episode of My Why. I sat down with Bridgeport's own Brandon Sherrod, and we talked about his journey from playing high school basketball in Connecticut to playing professionally in Italy. We also got the chance to talk about a few of the moments that have stood out along the way. Here's Brandon Sherrod and his why.
Actually, I started when I was in high school. I was 315 pounds my first year going in, and I didn't play any basketball before that, so it was a real struggle. I lost about 100 pounds between my freshman and sophomore year of high school at Stratford High, just from playing basketball and also changing my diet and eating better. And then after that happened, I started to get better at ball and started varsity my sophomore year, and then got better and better. And by my senior year in high school, I was Gatorade State Player of the Year, and the hard work paid off, and ended up going to Yale to play for 4 years. And then, I wasn't thinking about playing professional basketball. I thought it was going to be the end of my career, but my senior year went really well, and I decided to go to Italy and played there. When Yale came into the picture, I at first thought, they're not a good basketball school, so I'm not going to go, which was, not the case, obviously, because here we are. And then I thought about the academics, I thought about the prestige and the connections that I would have from going to a university like Yale, and the opportunities that it provides me as a student athlete. And I said, I get to play at the top level, I get to get an education at the top level, so it's the best of both worlds.
2, 3, oh, operator, information, me Jesus, all I like. Operator, information, I like to speak, let me feel good, friend of mine. Prayer is the number of faith is exchange, heaven is the street, and Jesus was his name.
So I guess the first thing was that I had a friend who graduated in 2012 who was in the Whiff and Poofs, and he talked about the experience like all the time, about traveling all over the world and only having to sing and taking a year off of school, and how life-changing and transformative it was for him. So for me, when I went to go try out, I was like, if I get in, great, I'll be able to embark on this experience. I don't know how I'm going to tell my coach, but it'll be dope. And if I don't get in, then life goes on. I continue playing basketball, and we'll see what happens from there. And so when I got in, I realized that I was now going to be afforded this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to use my gifts and talents that God's given me to sing and to play sports, and then also to dedicate a year to just music after having only basketball as the main part of my life. So I decided to take the year off, and throughout the year we traveled to 26 countries, which was unbelievable. I saw every continent other than Antarctica, and now I'm a world traveler, and it was all through this group. And it was such a blessing, and it's been a great way for me to share some of my experiences with other folks and to relate with people who have traveled to different areas of the world. I mean, if you take time off at any point in your career, it's hard to get back into that rhythm. And so when I got back, my coaches were really good about me taking my time, and their goal was to have me ready for the Ivy League season, which was the second half of the year, so I could really perform and play well. But my teammates were really big on, during the year, just giving me calls and encouraging me to stay in shape. And for myself, I had some personal motivation because the team didn't go to the NCAA tournament the year that I took off, even though they had won the league, and they were tied with Harvard for the league lead. And so I really motivated myself and tried my best to run every day, do calisthenics, and when I was home, I was able to have a basketball with me and tried to keep some sort of rhythm while I was away. But coming back, it was a little bit difficult, but my teammates and my coaches were really good about reintegrating me into the team, and it ended up working out, just step by step, taking my time. I didn't know really what was going on until I think like the third game or fourth, I think it was like the third or fourth game where I had hit like 25 in a row. And someone asked like in the media room after the game, was like, is that a record? And then someone was like, no, the record is 26. And so that's when I actually realized that it was, I was really close. And then we had the Columbia game where I broke the record, and I can remember my teammates were like, just don't miss any easy bunnies, like take your time, like if you don't have an open shot, like chill. But for me, it was, if I made the shot to break the record, would have been great. If I didn't, life would have also went on. But fortunately for me, I made some shots, and here we are. But it's all a testament to my teammates and them putting me in the right positions to score the basketball and doing what I do best, scoring around the rim. So that helped out.
As you may recall, Sherrod is also a member of Yale's famed a cappella group, the Whiffenpoofs. And as we are about to see, he's pretty good at imitating his favorite college basketball analyst.
So we had a NCAA tournament party, a watch party to see where we ended up and where our seat was. And someone asked if anyone had a Charles Barkley impression. I was like, yeah, I can do one. So I went up and did it, and I guess they got wind of it at TNT, and then they asked me to do it. So it was really dope to see Charles appreciate it, and he's a great player. I actually modeled a lot of my game after him, because he was probably 6'4", 6'5", but he rebounds the ball really well, and he scores around the basket just like me. So it was good for him to appreciate that impression. So I guess here it goes.
Look, Kenny, 50 point, 30 point, 80 point. Kobe Bryant is the best player in the NBA. Thank you, and shout out to PG Sports. Thank you.
So shout out to Chuck.
I'll tell you what, man, that was terrific.
That's
man.
good.
That is very good.
That was really good. Really.
I mean, it's a few things. One of my parents, because they worked so hard to put me in this position, and they sacrificed a lot for me to, be able to play the sport that I love. And my father comes to my games, and my mom also making sure that I understood the importance of really working for something. Two, my sisters, who are looking up to me as the oldest and as the older brother to be a representation of what they're aspiring to in the future. And then my city, the people of Bridgeport, Connecticut, because I understand that I'm, privileged to be a black male who graduated from college and now is traveling, abroad and living there for an extended period of time. People just don't get that experience, let alone do they get out of the city. So I understand that I have a lot of privilege now that I'm in this position, and I know that if I was to stop, or if I also get lazy and complacent, I would maybe fall back into the cycle some of the people I know are still in. So my goal is to work as hard as I can so I can continue to get other people to see that there's life outside of Bridgeport, there's life outside of Connecticut, and there's more to aspire to. Knowing what I know now, yeah, make sure that you, once they true to yourself, don't fall into the trap of trying to be like everyone else and trying to conform to the culture or the lifestyle that other people are living. And make sure that even when you get to a place where you're at the top, you still have the mindset of being at the bottom, because that's what keeps you going, and it keeps you from being complacent. And then the continued humility as well. That's the biggest thing. There's always going to be someone who's better than you at something. And so understanding that and knowing that you need to work even harder to get to that level is a really big deal. So humility, don't conform, and just keep grinding. That's it, every day. After basketball, I would love to run for mayor of my city in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's one of my long-term goals. Hopefully I can make some money before that so I can actually pay for the campaign, or else I'll be reaching out to everybody for donations. So if you see this 2025 or something like that, Brandon Sherrod for mayor of Bridgeport, I need your donations. Hopefully make some money before all of that, and then running for mayor of my city, and hopefully giving back and changing the culture and the cycle of bad politicians in Bridgeport, or corrupt politicians in Bridgeport as well. So that's my long-term goal. And then after that, if I can get into coaching or doing something that works with kids, or something that just allows me to give back while traveling, maybe traveling around the country or traveling around the world, just giving back to people who need it the most, whether that's refugees, whether that's businessmen in Hong Kong, whether that's Yale students. I just want to be able to speak about my experiences and give back to the people who need it most, whether they're rich or poor. What's up, I'm Brandon Sherrod, and thanks for watching My Why.